this video we will try to see the document type definition which is related to DTD. So XML is a markup language which is used to store and transfer data. So that's a primary purpose of XML. Given an XML document, generally in an XML, user is free to create his own tags and his own structure, attributes, entities, references, whatever it might be. So given that, if we want to establish a consistency among the data structure, the structure of data we are storing, suppose we want to store student data. So to store student data, all the elements whichever we are storing should be common. Like whoever stores the students data, they should follow a particular structure. So in order to define structure for an XML document, we have two provisions or two ways to do that structural rules. One is document type definition and the other one is XML schema. So this lecture we will discuss about document type definition. In a document type definition, it defines the structure of all the elements and attributes of an XML document so that a group of people can agree upon a standard of storing the data and interchanging or exchanging the data. So given this, we will check whether the given XML document is valid or not. Valid means we say an XML document is valid if the XML document sticks to the structural rules defined in the DTD. An XML document is called well formed if it satisfies the basic syntactical restrictions like the elements must be properly nested, case sensitivity, attribute values must be parenthesized, like that. So a DTD can be written in two ways, like we can write an internal DTD or we can go with an external DTD. So in an internal DTD, the structural rules are defined in doc type tag, which will be at the beginning of the DTD file. So the doc type tag starts by specifying doc type space root node, for example note in this case, followed by a square bracket and n number of lines to define the structural rules. So after this doc type is completed, we will be specifying normal XML document. So the rules and the document both will be in the same file, then it is called internal DTD. If we want to make sure it is consistently maintained over n other documents also, better we specify that DTD rules in an external file and we attach it to the required XML documents by using the same doc type tag followed by the root name node space keyword called system followed by the DTD file name. Generally, the external DTDs are stored with an extension .dtd. So in this case, node.dtd is a structural rules file for our XML document. So that's how an internal and external DTDs are specified. And coming to the defining structural rule, you can see the major building blocks of an XML document are elements, attributes, entities, and the type of data, that is parsable character data or character data. So first we will try to see how elements are defined, are specified, their structure is specified using DTD. So an element is specified using element tag. So it starts, all the rules starts with an exclamatory mark indicating they are not normal tags, they are some control tags. So element tag started, followed by the name of the element, followed by its category. So if an element is directly holding the data, we specify their data. As you can see, element space element name space PC data, parsable character data, which is for an element which directly has data in it. Suppose I have a element which has some child elements in it. In that case, we will specify it with element name. Within parenthesis, we will specify the child tag names in sequence, like child 1, child 2, child 3, like that. And even we can able to use special symbols like closure, star, asterisk, plus, question mark, in order to specify the repetitions, the number of times the child elements are repeated. Now, in the case star is used to indicate 0 or more repetitions, plus is used for 1 or more repetitions, question mark is generally used for 1 or none repetitions. Now, if you can see an example here, in this case, note is a element, it's a parent element with 4 children, 2 from heading and body. 2 is can be repeated 0 or more number of times, plus can be repeated 1 or more number of times. Heading is repeated can be repeated 1 or none times. Body is mandatory, like no repetitions are specified for that. So this is how basically the elements are specified in an XML document. Now coming to the attributes are specified by using @list list tag, followed by the name of element for which attribute is specified, followed by attribute name, space, the type of attribute, and its value if any default value is there. So for example, you can see attribute list of payment is the element name. For payment we have a attribute called tuck, and the type can hold any character data. By default the attribute value is check. So in the case of attribute values, we have different options to specify, like if any value is there, we can specify the value directly in double quotes, or if we feel the attribute value is mandatory, value is required, then we can specify #required all in caps at the attribute value position. Or if we specify #employed, it indicates the attribute is optional. Or if the attribute value is fixed, like sometimes we say weight in terms of kg, so that unit is fixed, in that case we will write #fixed space value. So these are all the possible ways by which attributes are specified in DTD. Now coming to the third building block of XML, entities. Entities are generally used to define shortcuts to special characters. So when we want to define an entity, we'll define it by using an entity tag, space entity name, and its value in double quotes. For example, here entity space writer is the entity name, Donald Duck is the value. So wherever I'll use ampersand writer semicolon, that's how entities are used generally, ampersand entity name and semicolon. So whichever the place ampersand writer semicolon is there in your XML document, that will be replaced by Donald Duck. So that's how entities will work out. And you can make an entity an external entity also, which is generally used to store an entity can scale from a single word to an image, a video, audio file also. So that useful the entities are. So if it is an external entity, we will specify entity space entity name, followed by a system keyword, and followed by the URI, uniform resource indicator or locator. So by this we will specify the external DTD. So having discussed about the way we specify the basic building blocks, so this is a example document type definition for a given document. It's an internal DTD basically. So as you can see, the doc type tag at the beginning of the document specifies the structural rules followed by an XML document. So note is a root node here. First node element will be note, which has 4 children, 2 from heading and body. 2 is a text holding element, so directly parsable character data. and from is again a text node PC data, heading is text node PC data, body is text element, it's a PC data, and close of the structural rules followed by the normal XML document. So that's how generally we write rules for a DTD. So these are all the these are the aspects related to document type definition. Thank you.